Hey guys, Rick96B with another WWE prediction video. This time it's Clash of Champions 2019. So, we've got 11 matches on the card and 10 of them are title matches. The only one that isn't is Rowan versus Roman Reigns. So, we'll jump straight into it with the pre-show. So, we've got the Cruiserweight Championship. I'm assuming it's a pre-show anyway, it's not been announced. Drew Gulak versus Humberto Carrillo. No idea who he is. Versus Lince Dorado. Do what I always do, retain. I think, to be fair, from what I've heard from other people, that's what's going to happen. Because apparently there's not been much build to this. So we'll go with Drew Gulak to retain. 205 Live as or is being cancelled, so soon it will be on NXT, I think they've said they're going to do, so I'll be able to keep a bit more track of it. So I might be able to tell you what's going off. So yeah, for this one we'll go Drew Gulak to retain. Next we've got the US title match, AJ Styles versus Cedric Alexander. This one's also had no build. The only build it's had really is that Gallows and Anderson and AJ beat him up before his King of the Ring match. Now he pinned AJ on Raw this week, so I think that's his big moment. AJ is winning. I don't think he's going to drop title to Cedric Alexander. Then we've got the IC title match, Shinsuke Nakamura with Sami Zayn. Don't get that bit, otherwise he can't talk. Versus The Miz. I'm going to go with Shinsuke to retain. It's too soon to take title off him, especially when they're doing something with Sami Zayn. Miz has got plenty of time to win more titles. I think, is he a nine-time IC champion? Something like that, yeah. He's 2 off of Jericho, I think. So eventually he will be beating Jericho, especially when being faced at AEW now. So yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura to retain, but later down the line I think he'll win it. Then we've got the SmackDown Tag Team titles. We've got Big E and Xavier Woods versus The Revival. Aren't Revival and Raw? I'm sure they are. I don't think that matters anymore, but I still think they've got to stick to brands, surely. Go with Big E and Xavier Woods to retain, but even so, why are Revival suddenly on SmackDown? Because SmackDown's short of tag teams. Apparently the draft's coming in, I think it's end of the year, so we'll know who's on what show and they can actually stick to it this time, but yeah, Big E and Xavier Woods to retain. Don't think Revival's going to win yet. And if they do, I think it'll be Raw titles after all this has gone off with main event. Next we've got the Women's Tag Team titles. We've got Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. This has had no build either. I think it's like had 2 weeks build. A lot of these matches on this card has had no build at all, so I can't see there being a lot of title changes, to be honest with you. I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, especially after what Mandy Rose said on either Raw or SmackDown. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it's SmackDown. Yeah, that went probably what they had planned for it, so it kind of went down badly with the fans as well. So Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross to retain. Then we've got the Raw Tag Team titles. We've got Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman versus Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. See, originally, on my first predictions, I had Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins said it was more storyline for the main event. But then I realised I've had literally 0 title changes. So I'm going to go with Ziggler and Roode to win somehow. I don't know how. I'll be surprised if they do, but I think a title got to change hands. 1 or 2 anyway, and I think this is one what's got most chance to change hands. Especially with the fact that they're fighting in main event, and so they're probably not going to get on. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ziggler and Roode to win the Raw Tag Team titles. Next we've got the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley versus Charlotte Flair. I'm going to go with Bayley to win this one. I think, especially with a heel turn, she's got momentum behind her. Don't think she can afford to really lose yet, especially after being pinned on, was it Raw, in the tag team match? That was ridiculous. The fact that you had arguably the 2 people with the most momentum in the women's division, one of them tapping out with referee not saying on outside, and the other one getting pinned. I don't see why you do that, especially to turn them heel. But yeah, I'm going to go with Bayley to retain because she needs to get her win back. Then we've got Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan in a no DQ match. I made a stupid mistake at WrestleMania. I picked Drew McIntyre. I can't, especially in this kind of match, bet against Roman Reigns, especially against Eric Rowan. So I'm going to go with Roman Reigns to beat Eric Rowan. Then we've got the WWE Championship match, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. I really can't see Randy Orton being the one who takes the title from him. I think Kofi needs to, when he does eventually lose it to a big name. I can see it being Brock Lesnar, to be honest with you. It really wouldn't surprise me if Brock Lesnar wins the Royal Rumble. But I can't believe I've just said that. I'm getting WWE ideas now. Please don't do that. But yeah, I think Kofi will drop it to a really big name. I can see it being a Brock Lesnar, John Cena. Because John Cena's got to win one more title before he retires. So yeah, I think Kofi's going to retain this time. Revival's preoccupied with New Day, so it's nothing. I think Kofi's going to win this one. Then we've got Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's title. So I'm going to go with Sasha Banks. So she's only just come back. This is her first feud after coming back. Becky Lynch has had the title now for 5 months. May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, 5 months. I think it's time for Becky to lose. If she doesn't lose now, it's going to be till Ronda comes back, which is going to be a long time, I think. And she can't keep it for that long. There's no one else who has got enough star power to take it off her, really. Especially on Raw. They need to bring some big names up from NXT when they do this draft, otherwise... Who is they? They're struggling. The 4 horsemen is all they've really got. That's why this feels like a decent pay-per-view for women. Because they're using all 4 of them. But Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross has been built up quite a lot by Alexa Bliss, but there's not a lot of people on the roster who can step to Becky Lynch. And I think Sasha Banks is one of the only ones who can. So I think it's time for her to take the title off her. That's the only reason, really. And then we've got the Universal Championship match. Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman. And I'm going to go with Seth Rollins because I do think it makes more sense to have Seth Rollins versus The Fiend. Because The Fiend can just batter him. Braun Strowman cannot take another big loss like that. I think there needs to be shenanigans in this match. Where Seth doesn't exactly win clean. Because Braun is really... He always gets to the Universal title. Gets the match and just falls short every time. And he can't keep doing that, otherwise it's going to ruin his career. I think he does eventually need to win it, but I think the match will end and then the Fiend will come out and attack Seth after he's retained. So yeah, that was my predictions for Clash of Champions 2019. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to like, favourite, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!